and gentlemen, this is season 5, episode 6 of the Life's Playbook podcast. Uh, because of technical issues last Saturday, my co host will not be with me for this episode because we had technical issues trying to record Tuesday's episode. So he will not be with me in today's episode. So it is just me. So for those of you who are new to the show, I am your host, Quinn Jackson of the Life's Playbook podcast, and we are going to be taking a break from football because the NBA preseason off season is here, and we've already seen some big splashes being made, and there's still a long off season to go, and still a lot more long big splashes to make. So we're going to cover the ones that have taken place right now. Specifically, we're going to cover the KD trade to the Rockets, what that means for the Rockets moving forward, and what that means for the Suns moving forward. We're going to talk about Kyrie opting into his 3-year, $113 million deal. And we're going to specifically talk about the recent trade that happened yesterday, and Porzingis getting traded to the Hawks, and Jordan Poole getting traded to the Pelicans for C.J. McCollum. So we're going to talk about all those things, as well as some rumors of Jaylen Brown and Jokic possibly being up for grabs via trade. So we're going to talk about those rumors all in today's episode. So sit back, relax. You're with the host, Quinn Jackson. We gon' talk, and we gon' talk basketball. Before we get into today's episode, make sure to download Prize Picks, the most elite sports fantasy app. And also, this podcast has been running for some time now. This podcast has accumulated a bunch of followers, and it's starting to get a community. And I am very grateful for you guys. I'm very grateful for the people that pop up in the stream. And, I notice the messages in the chat. I know I don't shout them out mid episode, but I notice the messages, and I want to appreciate you, the people that pop up in the streams as we're recording, and send encouraging messages. I want to appreciate all the views and the comments and the likes that the show has been getting across all platforms. I want to encourage you guys to keep them coming because it's helping the show grow. I understand that viewership has kind of gotten messed up because of the wisdom teeth surgery, but all that is taken care of, and you're going to get episodes more consistently now with the both of us. So I want to thank you guys. And I want to thank you guys for getting us almost to 1K on YouTube. So if you are tuning in to the streams every day while we're recording, I encourage you, if you have not subscribed yet, to do so and help us get closer to 1K subscribers. That would be a huge milestone for the show and a huge uplift for me and my co-host. So I want to thank all of you guys for starting to build a community and engaging in the posts that we make and all that fun stuff. I enjoy debating you guys in the comment sections about some of our takes. So I just wanted to say that keep the subscribes and the follows coming across all platforms. You guys are doing a tremendous job. Still trying to do new things with the show. Still trying to find a perfect person to come onto the show and give a different perspective on what it is they do or what it is they have on sports. So we're still looking. We're still looking to find new people, but the show is only going to keep getting better and better, and I encourage you to stay for the ride. So let's get into the NBA action for today's episode. Where do I even start? Well, I'll tell you where I'm going to start. We're going to start with the Jordan Poole trade to the Pelicans in exchange for C.J. McCollum. Now, I don't know all the trade packages off the top of my head for all these trades. So just bear with me here. But we're going to talk about the Jordan Poole trade to the Pelicans, and C.J. McCollum to the Wizards. We're going to talk about that because I actually think that this is a pretty solid trade for the Pelicans getting Jordan Poole. They needed a guy that can come in and who's young. I still believe he has upside. Um, he's got to. I think the biggest thing with Jordan Poole is his consistency. I think he's got to be able to consistently shoot efficiently and consistently give you good games every night. But I think it's good that the Pelicans went out and got somebody who's young, who still has potential, in my opinion, still has upside. His career's not over yet, is what I'm trying to say. I think Jordan Poole, I think he will mesh well with Zion. Maybe he'll even, get help encourage Zion to stay in shape and be the guy we know Zion can be. I think this is a solid move for the Pelicans. I don't think it moves the needle like yet for the Pelicans. I still think there are other gaps that they need to fill on the team, but this definitely, I think personally, for the Pelicans, improves the team. Not immensely, but it is a good move. Now, what does that mean for DeJounte Murray in the future? Because Poole is a guard, remains to be seen. But I think if they find a way to make Poole, DeJounte Murray, and Zion Williamson work, they could be a good trio. I'm not going to say scary trio, but they could be a good trio. Good move on the Pelicans' part. Now, CJ McCollum to the Wizards. Honestly, I don't know what the Wizards are doing at this point. I don't know what the direction is for that franchise. At this point, it just kind of seems like they're signing anyone, mainly vets. Um, I'm going to give that team a nickname, and that is the team of retirees, because that is essentially all they're signing is older guys who are retirees at this point. TJ McCollum I don't even think he's really that good of a player anymore at this stage in the game. But hey, the Wizards signed him. I'm kind of not fond of this move for the Wizards. I think if they're going to go into full rebuild mode, they got to go young, not old. And Chris Middleton and CJ McCollum and all the other vets on that team they're not going to give you too many years left. So, Wizards, you got to go young. Quit signing all these vets. I know veteran presences are needed, but veteran presences is the last thing your team needs. You guys, if you're going into rebuild mode, you have to start young. You have to redo it all. You have to build around Alex Sarr and see where the team goes. But honestly, I don't know what the Wizards are doing. I don't know where they're going. I don't know what the direction is on that franchise. Maybe maybe they see something that we don't see, but I don't really like this move for the Wizards at all. So let me know in the comments down below what you think about the Jordan Poole trade. Who we obviously know who won this trade. Will this work out for the Pelicans in the long run? You guys let me know in the comments down below. I think it can work out in the long run if they get more pieces for this trio. With that being said, that moves me to the Kyrie Irving electing to go into his 3-year, $113 million deal with the Dallas Mavericks. Again, it is a 3-year deal, so to me, I think he's looking to spend the rest of his days in Dallas, which is fine. Dallas is a big name brand in Texas. Texas is a big name state. They generate a lot of revenue, and the people seem to like Kyrie. They seem to like him down there. Kyrie's still a bucket getter. He can give you good nights. One of the greatest ball handlers of all time. One of the greatest ball handler I've seen play the game of basketball. I actually don't think. I think 113 million is the right price for Kyrie. I think it's the right price for him. I don't really think he should have a problem with it himself. I don't think he does. That's probably why he opted into it. Um, so I'm kind of not surprised he didn't opt into his player option of 43 million, and test the waters a bit, see what kind of market he has. But it's a solid re-sign. It's a solid extension slash re-sign for the Mavericks. I think Kyrie is looking to spend the rest of his days in Dallas. I don't blame him. And can Dallas, because the draft is apparently coming soon. Can they, when they draft Cooper Flag, can they build around Cooper Flag for the future? So we'll see. I think Dallas has a good direction. I think Kyrie and Cooper Flag, The veteran presence is definitely going to help mentor Cooper Flag when they draft him. It all just depends on where they go moving forward because we know Kyrie ain't going to be there for too much longer. I think after his 3 year extension is up, I think he might call it a quits. So it's all really going to be based around what the Mavs do with Cooper Flag moving forward, you know. But good move by Kyrie to stay in Dallas. I think that's where he will spend his last days. So, having said that, that brings me to the last trade that I kind of want to highlight. Yes, I know the Drew Holiday trade is out there too, but I want to highlight this trade, and that is the Kristaps Porzingis trade to the Atlanta Hawks. I'm mainly going to talk about this from the Celtics. What does this mean for the Celtics moving forward? A little more than the Hawks, because this is a good. I would say it's a good move for the Hawks. They got a big who can defend somewhat well. The injury history is somewhat scary, but we'll see if he can fix that in Atlanta. I think Porzingis, although he was underwhelming this year in the playoffs, he was he was overwhelming in the championship run in 2024. I think he can hopefully bring that presence back to Atlanta and be the superstar that we know Porzingis can be. But anywho, I think this is a good signing or a good trade for the Hawks. I don't think that this was a good move for the Celtics, and they pretty much didn't get much back for Porzingis. I think the replacement um, is nowhere close to the player that Porzingis was. I think this is a big, I think this is a much bigger hit than people are making this out to be for the Celtics. This is a much bigger hit, especially considering the fact that there are now supposedly rumors of Jaylen Brown being up for grabs, and Tatum is going to miss the full 2026 season. So I think this is a much bigger hit for the Celtics than people are making this out to be. But I'm going to bring that to the forefront because this needs to be talked about. What does this mean for the Celtics moving forward? I hate to break it to you, Celtics fans, and I'm not speaking out of bias or anything because I am a Cavs fan. For those of you who don't know, and I will be interested to see what my team does this offseason because we need to move some furniture for sure. But anyways, I'm going to be honest, Celtics fans. I don't think this is going to be a very good offseason for you guys. I just don't. I don't think this will be a very good offseason for you guys. I think furniture will be moved, and it starts with Porzingis. Furniture will be moved. I will dive into that a little more when I talk about the supposed rumors with Jaylen Brown being up for grabs. But it ain't going to look good for you, Celtics fans. And if I'm wrong, you can come back to this and let me have it. But from what it's looking like right now, with Porzingis being out of the building, and I understand he was underwhelming in this year's playoffs, but from what I'm seeing now, I don't think this is going to be a good off season for you guys. Um, Having said that, I think this trade basically signals that the Celtics are in rebuild mode. Um, they're they're in rebuild mode. They need to. I don't. There's really no other way I can put it. They're in rebuild mode. Um, Whether Derek White and Jaylen Brown are a part of that rebuild remains to be seen, and I will dive into that a little more when I talk about the Jaylen Brown rumors. But I don't know. I think the Celtics, Tatum's going to be out. Drew Holiday is gone. They lost some veteran presence, and Porzingis is gone. The team is essentially starting over, and who knows how long Al Horford has left on the tank before he is 40-ounce bounce into retirement. So for the Celtics, I'm going to be honest. This ain't looking like Sorry about that. A little bit of a troubleshooting issue. Um, Anyways, as I was saying, essentially the Celtics are in rebuild mode. Whether Derek White and Jaylen Brown is a part of that rebuild remains to be seen, but we will see what the Celtics do this offseason. I'm not going to give like my way too early predictions on where I think they will land this coming season because they have a lot of time to make new additions that could maybe better the team or worse subtractions that could make the team worse. But I'm going to tell you right now, Celtics fans, and I'm not speaking from a place of bias at all, even though I am a Cavs fan. I don't think it's going to be a very pleasant offseason for you guys. And I don't think the team is going to look anywhere close to better than they were in 2024, much less 2025. So be prepared, Celtics fans. Again, if I am wrong, y'all can come back to this later and let me have it. But that is my overall thoughts on the trade. Now it's time to talk about the trade. Oh, one last trade. I almost forgot about that. This is the biggest blockbuster trade of the week, and that is KD being traded to the Rockets, and Jalen Green is a Phoenix Sun. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Well, KD got traded, as we all know. I'm going to weigh in on it. I think this is a very, very good move. Very good move for the Rockets. The one thing that they were lacking in was a consistent, efficient scorer. Unfortunately, Jalen Green was not that guy. He was given the task, and he was not that guy to do that. We found that out in this year's playoffs. Um, but KD is the solution that they needed. Now, they gave up quite a bit for KD, but I think they still have enough to keep themselves propped in position for the future. I know KD is an older guy and he's kind of on his last limbs here, but I think he's still good enough to elevate the team forward, and I mean forward. If the Rockets were able to take the Warriors down to a game 7 in the first round with the team that they had pre KD, we're looking at championship contenders post KD trade. We're looking at a championship contending team in the Rockets with KD. Will that shape up to be that way? It all remains to be seen. But this is a very, very, very good move. This is the one thing that the Rockets needed. I wouldn't be surprised if the rest of the offseason. I wouldn't be in panic mode if the rest of the offseason for the Rockets went downhill because they got KD. That's the biggest thing they could have done, and they did it. So, Rockets, you guys get an A in my book for making this trade. This is exactly what you guys needed. You guys knew you needed a consistent, efficient scorer on a nightly basis. And although KD is on his last limbs, he can still provide all of that. And he's a mentor to the young guys in there. What does this mean for the Suns? Well, everything that I said about the Celtics pretty much applied to the Suns. And actually, I don't know if you guys remember this, but way back when I think this was like in season 3 when we were talking about the NBA standings before the playoffs, and I was talking about the Phoenix Suns. I said one of the three, if not two, need to split up. They need to break that trio up. I said that one of them needed to go, whether that be Booker or KD or Beal. One of them needed to go, if not two. Now, there's still time for two of them to go. It could be Beal or Booker, but who knows? Booker spent his entire career in Phoenix. He probably wouldn't want to leave. Although the team that's being built around him right now is not shaping up to be a playoff contending team anytime soon. So I wouldn't be surprised if Booker wants to leave. But I called it. I called that once that one of these guys in this trio was going to go. One of these guys is going to have to get broken up, if not two. And they did just that. We'll see if Beal or Booker wants out as well. If I'm Devin Booker, I would want out. I would not want to be in another rebuild because he's been in Phoenix his entire career. Phoenix has gone through multiple rebuilds. The franchise doesn't quite know what they want to do, where they want to go. And if I'm Devin Booker, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. I want to be on a team that can compete in the playoffs, that can contend for the playoffs, much less a championship. So, Jalen Green being a son, we saw that he's got flaws. I personally, I don't think I'm ready to say Jalen Green is not good because I think he is good. He's definitely not a number one player on any roster. He's definitely a number two, maybe even a number three guy, but he's definitely a number two guy for sure. I'm not going to say Jalen Green's not good, but I can't deny I've watched his performances in the playoffs, and he's got flaws, and that's kind of the big reason. That's probably the big reason why the Rockets wanted to get rid of him. Now, does he elevate the Suns? I don't know. I don't know if he does elevate the Suns or not. We'll see. Maybe if he can, fix his efficiency and scoring and his consistency, where he can give you good point games a night. Maybe he will be the answer for the Suns, but I just don't see it. This organization just doesn't know where they want to go. They have no direction, at least in my opinion. And I have a feeling that KD won't be the only one, a part of that trio, that is going to be taken. It's going to get taken away. It's going to be gone. Honestly, if I'm Devin Booker, I would want out. I would want out if I'm Devin Booker. I wouldn't want to go through another rebuild. I think you just build this team around Bradley Beal and see where to go. But it's kind of hard to talk about the Phoenix Suns because they just don't have anything to set them up for the future. They don't have a lot of draft picks this year. They spent all their chips on Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal's inconsistent, and Jalen Green kind of frees up some flexibility because he's a younger guy and you don't have to put all your chips in on him. But there's just not a whole lot. There's not a whole lot that Phoenix has to look forward to. But we'll see. Maybe Jalen Green improves tremendously as a scorer, and he's the answer that Phoenix needs. But I don't see it. I'm not seeing it anytime soon. So Phoenix, I'm gonna give you guys a C because I don't think Jalen Green is terrible, and he's not a terrible pickup, but he's got flaws. Whether he works on them remains to be seen. But I'm giving you guys a C on this end. Which brings us to the rumors of Jaylen Brown / Derek White possibly being up for grabs. And Jokic, surprisingly, possibly being up for grabs via comments from the Nuggets owner. So let's talk about these guys, these fellow basketball players, because honestly, if I'm both franchises, I wouldn't. First off, I wouldn't even come out and say that about my star players and Derek White, Jaylen Brown for the Celtics, and Nikola Jokic for the Nuggets. First off, I wouldn't even come out and say that there might be a possibility that those three guys would be up for grabs on their respective teams. And second of all, if I'm the franchises, I would do everything in my power to keep those guys, especially if you're the Celtics. Because if you're the Celtics and you're looking and you're coming out and you're spreading rumors that hey, Derek White or Jaylen Brown is on the table, I wouldn't do that because your team right now, it's not looking good right now for your team. Roster wise, it's not looking good. You just got rid of Porzingis. Tatum is going to be out for a full year. Drew Holiday is out of the building. So it's kind of, I wouldn't be saying that either of those two guys is up for grabs, and I wouldn't do it. I would keep those two guys because they're kind of the last cornerstones on the team. Um, I I just don't understand why the Celtics would spread rumors like that. Again, these are just rumors, all right? They're just rumors. They're not definite. Nobody's really come out and said anything that they're definite or not. They're just rumors. But if these rumors are true talks that are going on in the front office of the Boston Celtics franchise, the people who are having these talks need to be investigated because I understand you're looking into going into a rebuild state of mind, but you still have good options in Derek White and Jaylen Brown. I think you should keep those two guys. They are still cornerstones of your franchise, and they are just enough to keep your franchise afloat without Porzingis and Tatum. So, again, these are just rumors. These are just rumors. Personally, Celtics, I wouldn't even be talking about possibly getting rid of these two guys because you need all the help you can get. Unless you know for sure that there are other players who are not only better than those two guys, but there are players on your mind that you definitely for sure are looking to go after, maybe pull the trigger on that, on trading one of those two guys. But if I'm the Celtics, I'm just shutting down any rumors, any kind of talk in the building of getting rid of those two guys because I need to keep as many members of the 2024 Celtics squad as I can. So that's man. I hope these rumors do not come true because that might those gonna be some big trades if those happen. If either one of those guys leave, that's gonna be a big trade because the Celtics, in theory, can get a lot for either one of those two guys. But I personally wouldn't do that if I was part of the Celtics organization. Nikola Jokic. Um, First off, I don't even know what the Nuggets owner was thinking when he came out and said that. That he's basically implying that there's a possibility that Jokic might need to go. If he did that, that might be worse than what Nico Harrison did in trading Luka Doncic. If he did that, that shouldn't like. I wouldn't like. I would bring him in if I was the man. I don't know why he came out and said that. If I'm being honest, uh, there's no reason to be having those kinds of conversations about the best player in the league and the best player on your team. There's nobody you're going to find bigger and better than Jokic if you were to actually go out and say, "Hey guys, Jokic is up for grabs. Who wants him?" Yes, you can get a huge overhaul for the future if you went out and said Jokic is up for grabs. You could get a huge overhaul for the future. I understand all of those possibilities, but I wouldn't do it, man. I wouldn't do it. There are other players, there are other valuable pieces on your team that are worth trading than Jokic. I just wouldn't come out like that. Just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you even hint that Jokic could possibly be up for grabs? Why would you possibly hint that, much less come out and say that? I don't know what the Nuggets owner was thinking when he said that, but I wouldn't have said that. I wouldn't have said that at all. The Nuggets definitely need to keep Jokic. He's really all they have. He's the best player in the world. Again, I understand all the possibilities that you can get with Jokic, all the stock you can get out of Jokic via trading him, but you got to keep Jokic. There's no reason to be having any sort of rumors fly around that he might be up for grabs. There's no reason to be having any conversation in the building that Jokic might be tradable. There's no reason to be having all of any of this. Just shut it all down. If I'm the Celtics, shut down any kind of talk about trading Derek White or Jaylen Brown. And if I'm the Denver Nuggets, shut down any talk of possibly trading Jokic because there's no point. There's no point and there's no need. So again, these are all just rumors, and maybe I'm just overreacting and I'm getting too in depth about rumors. But these are some pretty big names. Big names from big franchises that are being rumored to be traded. And when stuff like that happens, a GM is going to pull the plug. If he sees the right offer, the right amount of stock, he could pull the plug on either for the Celtics, Jaylen Brown or Derek White, and for the Nuggets, Jokic. But with all due respect and having said all of this, let me know in the comments down below about your thoughts on the trades that took place this week. Let me know what your thoughts on the rumors, if you think they are true and could they possibly happen. I again, we will wait and see what those two franchises do respectively. But let me know what your thoughts down below. What you think of the rumors? Are they wise words to have been said about those three players, or are the franchises stupid for bringing that up and saying those things about their players? Let me know all this down below. Until next time, I will catch you guys for the next episode of the Life's Playbook podcast. Peace out.